All right, folks. We've got some 1200 Elo Age of Empires here. It's a solid level, and it's on Arabia. Some people eat, drink, sleep, eat. I think I said eat already. I ruined it. Arabia, all right? And, it's a map which really tests one's ability to succeed in Age of Empires in all ages. Which is, I would say, the big reason, like, if you were to be completely new here today and ask me why Arabia, because every single age, there's something to take advantage of and something to do. That is also the same reason why people do not like Arabia. Because some people are like, let me chill in the first 2 ages, please. I don't want to be attacked. I don't want to have scouts and archers at my base at the 10-minute mark. Lithuanians here for the player in the blue, who's named the Killer Soap. And Killer Soap is up against Pablom, or maybe Pablom. I don't know, but or maybe just Pablo M. Either one. And Pablo has stolen some sheep. Something very possible that we may see more frequently in our cast of mid-elo today. Players try and take every advantage that they can get. And Blue scouting with some sheep as well has to be a little bit careful. Blue will not know those sheep were stolen. But that's why, in general, I always suggest you scout the front of your base first. Interesting, Red. So Red is just attacking Blue's house here. Huh. Now, Pablo, Red is playing as the humans. So a little bit of laming here from Red to gain a bit of an edge. And the humans can make the second TC in Feudal Age, the only civilization that can do that, so it is a strategy. Otherwise, bonuses you really think of would be the cheaper stable and cheaper archer range. I think Lithuanians are a more common pick here. You start with extra food, so that's going to be a nice positive here for Blue, being down the sheep. Really good scout rush, really good knights, like playing into knights, playing into pikemen, which the pikemen are pretty speedy. Always seems like a pretty solid option. I would say that, like, I think Lithuanians are one of the easiest civs to play for mid-elo if you don't want to go archers. Like, you got great knights, you got great pikemen to counter, like, camels or whatever. And it's pretty easy, smooth gameplay. I think, the technical archer play is a bit tougher for these ranks, too. So if I had to guess, the majority of players would probably play more of, like, spearman scout style. But yeah, Red is being really aggressive with the scout and has wandered all around Blue's base. Blue has done the right thing to stay near the elephant so the elephant can't be stolen. And behind this, Red obviously should have the extra goat. Red did not scout this elephant, though. So Red might not have vision on that and might not be able to bring it in. So there's obviously, some reward for stealing the goats. But the negative thing here is not knowing where that elephant is. All right, chat, what's your elo, and do you lame, yes or no? This is not a name and shame session, all right? I will not shame you for being honest and responding. 1200 elo, yes. 400, no. 900, no. I'm seeing lots of no's. Some people are morally against it, says I would never. Someone said only by accident. Okay. All right. Just curious. I personally don't. But there are some exceptions. There are some players that choose to, and then I will lame. It's a war game, true. It is a war game. It's part of the game. In my opinion, I don't have a big issue with it. The thing for me is, like, I always wonder at mid ranks if, like, people, like, at high ranks there's a code, right? There's a code. It's like no one steals each other's crap, but if it's a tournament, they will steal your entire existence. They'll steal your boar and your identity in a tournament. It's so weird. The second there's money on the line or like a bracket, it's like completely different. So okay. Well, Red's gonna click up to the feudal age here. Red at a minute of TC idle time, so things weren't quite as smooth. And Blue is gonna go for some walls. Kind of feels like Blue wants to go for scouts. I'm sure blue's trying to collect a little bit extra wood here to get the stable. And blue's moving forward with the scout right now. Is Beery aware of this code? Well, yeah. If you guys want me to list off the exceptions, Beery is one of the main ones. Beery loves to pick Mongols, loves to lame. I even got, like, I don't want to brag or anything, but I was one of the ones that actually got Huang to be more honorable with his lames. Huang told me, I no lame you now. That's what he said to me when I complained once that he stole my boar. So, and then Huang started to also have a code where it was like, you could tell, he's like, okay, this person's chill. We don't steal from this person. Huang and Beery, on the other hand, Huang and Beery are just like, they're boar swapping 4 minutes in. So I see this a lot. I see, like, what we're seeing right now from blue a lot, where you got the scout opening into walls. The idea is attack, and then, oh, geez. Oh, God. Well, sorry about that one, Killer Soap. You slipped right into that dude's town center. But no, like, the idea is you apply pressure with army, and then you defend from whatever they're going to send your way with walls. So, blue ran directly into the opponent's TC. Obviously a bit painful there. Does have the next scout here. 2 villagers could fight this off, but red is adding the second TC. So red is... Oh! What the crap there, Pablo? Excuse me, replay time. 1200 elo. Villager's about to go down. Boink! Not today, sir. Not today. Well played there, Red. Red also pulls the weak villager away to the farm. Dang. Sick. Well, when you're up against humans, there's always all this pressure because they can add that second TC. But I'm not sure I've seen this at mid-ranks before. Like, let's see how good Red is at adding the farms here. Because Red hasn't gone for a barracks. And Red's going to try and add the barracks now. Uh-oh, Blue. Uh-oh. Okay. Blue already ran into one town center. Now there's a second one. But yeah, this is really tricky. Because now Red is paranoid. Red's thinking, where am I vulnerable? Knows the scouts are there. So now Red's dropped the gate. Got to drop the barracks, but wants the positioning to be better. And this whole time, there's no farms. Right? So that idle TC time we're seeing from Red is probably going to climb. Having said that, though, Blue is, like, all over the place economically. We've got 5 villagers on this lumber camp. These villagers are on vacation. These villagers are going to build a new lumber camp. And lots of walls here. And so a lot of villager time was a bit awkward here for Blue. So the farm count's not all that good, which in turn means that it could be really tough for Blue to have a good castle age time. So I actually really like Red's position here. I think Red is in a really nice position to be able to have the time, especially now with the Spearman. Because when you're up against the Cumans, guys, you want early damage, which Blue tried, but then it's pressuring in Castle Age. So, only seeing 7 farms behind this is slightly concerning right now for Blue. But it's not too bad. The walls are down. Things are pretty protected. It's not too bad. Obviously, Red has the highlight of the game, saving that villager earlier. But 15 farms, spears are out to defend from scouts. Man. If Blue's... Oh, no. This is like one of the worst feelings. You already have not found the damage you want, and then the starting scout from the opponent can find a villager. I think Red might be auto-scouting, but that could be a kill. And I guess right now, Blue just kind of scouting the rest of the map. Maybe thinking about finding relics for later, being the Lithuanians. Red Scout does go down. KD's 1-1. But yeah, I think for Arabia standards, the build from Red right now is really smooth. For this rank, I think it's really good. Also love like the way the walls are shaping up too. I also think the TC position was perfect on the wood line and the gold. Market's going to come up here from Blue. Interesting stuff. Karash says, T90, do you accept Nilly? Question mark, question mark. Do I accept him? Like as what? A friend? As a human? As a what? It would depend on what your question is. Do I accept Nilly as a teammate? I don't know about that. As one of my best friends, of course. As a German? That's not up to me. I don't make the rules. Doesn't matter whether I accept it or not. But yes, he's the most German person I've ever met, so. Do you accept the existence of Nilly? All right, a little bit of market shenanigans here from Killer. So, all right, so you guys, you know the second TC's up. You know they have an eco lead. In my opinion, you should be aiming to kill that eco lead with some pressure. So my thinking is double stable and a villager in the middle. Now, no one does this, dude. No one. I rarely see it. It's more of a high elo thing. So it might be that is not actually good at mid elo, and this advice is bad. But I would love to see a Siege Workshop here, and then those knights streaming forward, and you really apply pressure. So you're smashing down some of their buildings and putting them. You make them make mistakes. Red's farming eco is good. Now, Red has stopped producing out of both these TCs. I think this is a big part of being successful with the Cumans on Arabia. Is you do have to idle at some point so your castle age time is not too late. And then the other TC, now that you've clicked, can still produce villagers while you're on the way to the next stage. And Red obviously does not have that, or Blue, sorry, doesn't have that ability. Amma Bear, thanks for the 7 months. Welcome back, T90. Good to be back. Thank you. Thank you, Tomathon. Winzu, thanks for the Prime. Vivi Faye just subscribed with Prime. Hold on a second. We just casted you. And you said, OMG, I was nervous we had spectators. Hey, we definitely did not see you lose a villager to a boar. Definitely didn't see that. We were looking somewhere else. Okay, thank you for the support. Regnak, thank you for the 37. Thank you, Whoa Wee Wah, for the Prime. Matt in the Hat. Thank you, too. All right. Siege Workshop from Blue. All right. Knights are on the way. Gonna see a TC as well. Monastery at home. Blue probably thinking about collecting the relics. Red's eco is just bonkers, man. I'm definitely not the person to even give advice on how to beat the humans. I die when I play with them, and I die against them. And thus far, I think Red has played a really good game with humans. The walls are solid, the eco count's solid, the upgrades are really good. And, like, the food's gonna be there to make so many Lancers. And, you know, Lancers could just stomp the siege, in all honesty. But it's gonna be camels. Okay, so expecting knights going camels, that's fine. And we even see another TC from Red. Monk siege. There's a lot of things for Blue to do right now, right? Monks are going out to get relics, not to help in the fights. Siege is there to push. And camels could put an end to this pretty quickly, in theory. Is there a world where Cuman player could add a few scouts and feudal to further increase the eco lead? Yeah, I would say so. It's possible. I think it's a bit trickier on an open map where you have to put more effort and resources into walling. But for a map like Hideout or Arena, I think it's really smart. Upgrades are decent enough for Red and Blue. I'm going to use the Mangonel here. But those camels are going to be able to put all of this to bed. And as much as I suggested the forward siege workshop, you know, something we didn't really think about is maybe go for like pike siege instead of knight siege here. Monk, though, was on the way to get a relic. Could get a conversion. Camel's definitely going to get converted there. Monk now needs to run. Knights should... Ooh, Knights fight. And that is going to be some losses here for Blue. And Blue's behind by like 15 vills. This is insane. Red's playing amazing. But yeah, Pike is definitely the play now. I think Pike is actually the play this whole time. Super tricky. But then it's like, if they were on stone and they go into kip checks, you feel like an idiot for going Pikeman. Really tough. He shouldn't have listened to you. Yeah. I think the siege part is good. I like the energy with the siege. I actually think pikemen would have been the play instead of knights. If I had to guess, I'd say like 50% of the gameplays for like mid-elo, like 1100 to maybe 1500, is just like scouts into knights and booming. I'd say a lot of players like to do that. And I think when you get... you know, sometimes it's hard to shift away from that game plan. Well played from Red, though. I mean, Red's playing this so good. And, like, when the Cuman eco's flying, man, it's like you can't catch up, feels like. But Pikeman's in! And he's caught up! And it's speedy Pikeman with Lithuanians as well. Well played. Now the siege push can continue, of course. Relics will matter here. The monastery from Red is in the middle. Now Red is thinking, I need pikemen, and I need to give up on camels as an idea. But the villagers building the barracks are being found by the knights. Knights do already have +1 attack from the 1 relic Blue collected. I don't know if Red did this intentionally, but that's smart, just like Blue did here. Protect those relics. And not really the position you would have wanted to build up your buildings if you are Red. But this barracks hasn't been found. So there will be 2 barracks at least. But Blue's going to have siege to ram this all down. And Blue, with the army and the control, doing a pretty good job right now. That's going to be relic number 2 for Blue. Sir Max, the relic duplication bug has been fixed. Thankfully, it no longer works. I think they fixed that like a month ago. So where are the other relics at? Wow, okay, so Blue also left the scout. Oh, Blue doesn't know about that relic, but that scout is close by to that relic. Knights are coming in! Knights are going to kill some villagers very quickly, and ever since Red lost control, Blue's had good opportunities here. Ram will still continue to take down the barracks. Now, Blue's still making a lot of knights, I'm noticing. You just got to be careful with how many knights you produce here. I think you still need to rely on your own pikes with your siege. Good kills from Blue. Good finds. Sometimes you've got, like, too much eco to pay attention to. It's like... it's kind of a weird thing, you know, but... There's 4 TCs to look at. You begin to miss some holes in your walls and some areas where villagers are located. 14 villagers killed from Blue, who sit out here in Castle Age to turn the Vill count around. Is doing a pretty good job right now. But is still up against camels and pikes. It continues to make more and more knights here. I think it's a little bit of stubbornness here from Blue. But at the same time, things are going so well. So that's going to be a dead villager. 17 villagers now lost. Still keeping an eye on the production from Red. But Red lost 17 vills, but is still as a pretty big vill lead because of the 4 town centers. But you have to spend a lot of food to get that vill count back. Something that Blue won't necessarily have to do. And Blue clearly liking the attack on the knights. Going for forging even. So that's going to be 10 plus 3 attack. Also could snag this relic. And could snag this relic. Red is really falling apart at the moment. Yeah, you see, look at the resources here. You don't really have food for more pikes because of the villas you're producing. It's now 5 TCs for Red. I like how Blue's added more pikemen here. I was worried that Blue is just going to continue with knights, thinking that because of the attack it could work. And don't get me wrong, it can. But it's just a little too risky, right? I don't think it's something you have to do. I think a combination is perfect. And like here, Red's not really microing the knights. You just patrol, right? And so the pikes do very little damage against each other, but then your knight, if it's getting hits on the pikes, is doing some pretty decent damage. As you can kind of see there. Dang. Well, guys, I don't know if you noticed this. I just did. And granted, this game is really complicated, and this is mainly for content. I'm not trying to be rude to you here, Killer Soap. But I don't have this hotkeyed. There was an awful lot of this happening here over the last couple minutes. Because I keep looking at the Vil KD, and I'm just like, Blue's going to catch up because Blue's killed 21 villagers. But then I look back, and Blue's at the same Vil count as I remember from a couple minutes ago. So Blue's looking at the fights, looking at the armies, having fun, just forgot to make villagers. And, you know, Red, credit to Red. Red's still producing tons of villagers throughout this whole period. Like, look at this. Blue's got the food. There we go. Maybe we caught Blue at an off time. But Red's still in this and making primarily pikemen. So if Red could just get, you know, 10, 15 more pikes, stabilize a little bit, Red could be completely fine here. That's a lot of siege, though. That's a good position for Blue to push from. Red might try and build a defensive castle soon. Maybe build it in an awkward position. I don't know. Like this from Blue, though, getting yet another relic. So, I always find it tricky. When I'm Lithuanians with 3 relics, I just can't stop making knights. Even if my opponent's going full pikeman, I just can't. And I think when I'm casting, I could say, like, guys, maybe, you know, hold off on the knight production for now. But realistically, you just got all that attack. You just want to use it. That scout killed the villager there. I'd like to see Blue maybe use the knights to raid a little bit. Like, there's obviously the main battle. Maybe go raid, but I think what Blue wants to do... Yeah, look, Blue wants to make more knights. And Blue's ready for a big push. But it is going to be a push near a castle. Look at Blue's TCs. Yeah, Blue's so focused on the front, not producing out of the TCs. So these attacks have to work. If you're not doing that, your attacks have to find good value. And they have found decent value this game. Has to continue to be that way. And, like, if I were to pick any trait to give any player in this game, it would always be, above everything else, creating villagers constantly. That would be the number one thing. Because you take a bad... Some people suck with micro, but you still have good eco. Some people don't know unit options. You still got good eco. Some people don't have the upgrades. You still have good eco to make more, right? Eco is king. Cumin's eco is strong here from Red. And Red lost 24 vils and just kept pumping this whole time. And I think that is... Obviously, it's more complex than just saying... Like, if you don't give Blue an army, I'm sure Blue does a slightly better job. And honestly, I think a lot of this comes back to the fact that Red's initial boom was so good. So, let's see. These knights have +5 attack in the Castle Age. It could even be +6 if Blue brought in another relic. Into the Rams go the pikemen. Red is going to be Imp, but I have no clue what Red's plan even is in Imp. I imagine it would be Halb. Halb would make the most sense with all the pikes on the field. I like how Red realizes that Blue's probably could break through here and is building another layer ahead of time. That's really smart. I'd love to see, like, in these moments, a castle on this hill. You never really want to make a defensive castle in your base. You want to avoid that at all costs. A castle here, if Blue's not around, would make sense. Oh, he's going for the castle. Oh, shoot. Choo-choo! Let's go! Alright, I mean, that castle will go down very quickly. Well, you gotta move in with your army, though. Oh, shoot. I don't think Red expected this. Red's gonna hop out. Okay. Pathing's a little awkward. Yeah, and Red's got some army here. And now Blue's gonna force it, because Blue sees that Red is an imp. And Red's gonna... Oh, that's a really nice house. It's a really nice house to block off the pathing. It just gives Red a little bit more time. Knights and Scorpions are owning. Castle needs to stay up here for Red. If Red could focus on it, you'd want to kill the Scorpions with your castle. Red is doing that. And Halba's going to be in a couple seconds. There's no way this works. Yeah, you have all the attack on the Knights, but it's Halb. And Red's got a 30 villager lead. And Blue's now thinking, how do I counter Halb? I have to go for the swordsman line. But I think even, like, you know, that window is possibly passed here. Yeah, I agree. I think Blue could have used the army to raid a little bit. Like, these two like have actually, as Strode points out, killed like 10 vills, right? So, in theory, you could have had like the army being a little bit more active if you're blue. Red doesn't see this. Blue go imp right now. Blue go imp right now. Save this game. Blue go imp right now. Blue go imp. Everyone say use the stonks emote. Go up to imp, please. Please go up. Please, please go up. Blue. Yes. Okay, blue's on the way. Blue's killed 60 villagers. Blue's killed 60 villagers. Red's falling apart because of the raids. Red's trebuchet could be sniped. The castle's still very weak. Blue, using the activity and the movement of the army, found a good position. 60 villagers killed, 0 lost. Blue is on the way to the Imperial Age. Man-at-Arms against the trap, just like we all expected. Man-at-Arms rush, 42 minutes in. Go, 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 go. Oh, shoot. I mean, the Rams are on the way, too. Okay, Red has cleared up the raid. Red is 50 halbs. And all the halbs are coming to protect those trebs. But is it too late for the trebs? I think it is. Dang, man. Oh, what a nice find there from Blue. Blue could honestly maybe have a slight chance of taking out the castle, too. All right, so, Blue, all you've seen from your opponent for the last 87 years is halbs. You've got to have an answer for this. And, I think if you're being pushed a little bit more present, a little bit more intently from Red, maybe you try and go for the champion line. But unless you have, like, a really good champion civ, I really wouldn't suggest trying to go the champion line here. It's going to be uncomfortable, but I'd like to see archer ranges be dropped and maybe think about skirmisher. And then you get chemistry and you can mix in some hand cannons later on. Hand cannon is your ideal unit. Skirmisher's actually good, though, as you wait for that. Now, I like how Red he's not using all of his army to protect the next treb. Red is also raiding. So I think Blue will struggle there. But guys, like, look at Blue still making knights. Blue can't help himself. He's like, I got 3 relics with Lithuanians. I gotta make knights. And all things being equal here, now Blue is the one to struggle with the raid. And look at Red's vill count again! Red lost 70 vills. But Red was down to like 70 vills and Red is up to 100 already. That's insane. That's so good. That's the difference between these two. Now, obviously, humans had to start in feudal. Again, you lose vills, just keep making them, baby. Keep making them. Halb upgrade from Blue. I mean, I guess Lithuanian halbs are maybe superior in some ways. Blue's going to try and raid again with the knights. There's halbs everywhere. And there's halbs over here as well. Knights probably being, forgotten about for a moment. And by the time Blue looks back here, Blue's not going to have many of them left. Blue is repairing the castle here on the hill. Needs to keep this castle up to have a chance. It's not just the vills. Look at the farm count from Red. Red's got that rhythm. It's like, as the GG's called here from Killer Soap, and Killer Soap respects it. And you think of pro level, right? It's like, make vills, make army, micro army. Make vills, make army, micro army. And then mixed into that is add farms. Really sick job. I want to go back to when all those vills were killed. Okay, right here. Impressive from Red. 79 villagers versus 72 at the 42-minute mark. You go forward to the 45-minute mark. 99 vills versus 65. That is because we've got a player that no matter what happens, produces more villagers and tries to stay on top. Now, I want to say that like any decision Blue made after Red cleared up the initial siege push is possibly going to look questionable because the eco count is so good. Like, look at this. We've got 15 villager lead. Res collected's already so much higher for Red. And then Red's going for a 3rd and eventually a 4th TC. This was the key from Red. Knowing it would be knights and going camels was super good. In hindsight, I think you actually got to go Pike Siege there. But it was still a really good game. I thought it was a fun one, and they both played pretty well. But I'm surprised, man. Like, 1200 elo? Red really played humans well there. And I definitely was getting, like, a flash of, like, some of the struggles that I have when playing against humans. You have to get enough damage in feudal, but even then, there's still going to be ahead in castle. Then you have to do damage in castle and get it right. And it's just like, there's always this feeling that you're behind against the humans, especially if the player really knows what they're doing. And to me, it's not Red's first rodeo. I think Red's played humans quite a lot, so certainly get that down and well practiced. 49,000 resources collected. But how many total vills? Look at that. 167 total villagers from Pablo in one game. Whereas Blue is at 80 total. Sick.